Hello everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. Continuing the trend of recently released trailers, we have two brand new trailers for the upcoming EVEREST movie. Now, Everest, I was skeptical about this movie because even as soon as the first trailer started, I was like, oh, another Vertical Limit, which Vertical Limit was fine in its own right. It was a product of its time, but I don't know. It just didn't, it never, even when I saw it as a kid, I saw it when I was like 13 or 14, and it still just didn't sit well with me. It had some really exciting sequences in it, but the characters didn't seem real. You know, Bill Paxton played a mustache-twirling villain when he could have been a much more nuanced individual. But then the trailer continued, and this movie looks to focus on the characters, which, even though it's got what appears to be great spectacle, this looks like it's going to focus on the characters. Specifically, I mean, there's two different expeditions that go up simultaneously up Everest, and normally you would think that it's going to be all the trials and tribulations are going to be them getting up to the peak of the mountain. Well, this movie's not the case. This shows you that, while yes, it is still dangerous to climb all the way up to the top and get to the summit, the real challenge is on your way down. And this looks haunting. This looks thrilling. This looks captivating. I mean, Jason Clarke, the one thing that I will say about most actors who have an accent, whether it be Australian or British or Russian or whatever the case is, when they have to put on an American accent or another accent for a film, it almost appears as though their acting is limited a little bit because they're concentrating a little bit too much on maintaining that accent, and they're not concentrating enough on the little subtleties of their performance. Watching Jason Clarke be able to use his natural, I think he's either Australian or New Zealand. I think he's Australian. But seeing him be able to use his natural accent, you can just see the performance. I mean, it's bigger than I've seen him in most other films that he's done. And the last really good film with a really good performance from him was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I mean, he has been the mustache-twirling villain before, but you know, he did White House Down, and in the upcoming Terminator Genesis, which, by the way, for those of you who are still skeptical of that movie, and take this with a grain of salt, James Cameron, who is known to just give his honest opinion, regardless of whether or not it impacts the film, has come out and stated that this is, in fact, the third film in his series. That's what it feels like. That's what it made him feel. He felt that it took a lot of the concepts and paid respect to the original two films, but then took it in a new direction, a new exciting direction. And so he gave it his stamp of approval. And he's been approving of the movies a little bit as he's done interviews over the past 1.5 to 2 years. But with him actually seeing the final product and still giving his okay, that to me really says a lot about the film. And I'm actually quite excited to see it now. But getting back to this and looking at the fact that, again, this is going to be focused on the characters instead of just simply focusing on the spectacle. Because, and as an example of that, Poseidon. The most recent Poseidon movie with Josh Lucas, or no, was it Josh Lucas? Kurt Russell was in it. Emmy Rossum was in it. Mike Vogel was in it. And that movie was just spectacle. It was just, we need to get past this one section. Oh my God, it's death harrowing events. And then they get past it. It's like, oh, all right, on to the next. You know, there was never really any character development in that movie. Also, it was only like an hour and 28 minutes. This looks like it's going to solely focus on the characters with spectacle as the background, and seeing Jason Clarke being able to excel in this movie just further stamps the fact that I think that when actors have to put on an accent, even though that's part of their job, it's an added level of concentration that they don't normally have to work with, which means they can put more nuances and subtleties into their performance. And seeing the rest of the eclectic cast, I mean, you have everybody from Josh Brolin to John Hawkes to Keira Knightley, you have Robin Wright, and then you also have, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal, who is definitely channeling Ben Mendelsohn from Vertical Limit. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, they got Ben Mendelsohn back, but he kind of looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. So go and check out Vertical Limit if you haven't seen it. Actually, it's quite entertaining, but it's not a quality film. It's just an entertaining movie. It's Chris O'Donnell before he had the stigma of Hollywood's failed Golden Boy. um, but the one other thing that really gives me hope about this, even if the trailer really didn't exceed or succeed in its portrayal of the movie, it's directed by Baltazar Kormaker. And Baltazar directed two films that were originally, when they were announced and you saw the trailers, you were like, eh, but then when you saw the movie, you're like, wow, this is really good. And those were Contraband with Mark Wahlberg and Two Guns, again with Mark Wahlberg and with Denzel Washington. And so I have a lot of faith in that. I have a lot of faith in the director of the subject matter, and the fact that, like, the tagline of the movie and even in the trailer, they state human beings, Human beings were not designed or meant to survive at the cruising altitude of a 747. Like, that's where they're going. Just think about that for a second. They are going to the same altitude that if you fly internationally, if you fly to the other side of the country, you're going to be cruising at that altitude. And that's where they're climbing to. They're climbing up that height. And if you watch the international trailer, when it talks about the relief efforts for Nepal, which I definitely recommend anybody go and donate to if they haven't already, it gives you a scale shot. So it shows very tiny, like on the screen, they're about this big, and it shows you the expedition, and the helicopter slowly comes up and shows you the face of that mountainside that they're on, and you see that that's only just one little peak, and then it keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and you see the size and scope and scale of this mountain and this expedition that they're undergoing. And just to see this in IMAX, let alone in 3D, but in IMAX, is going to be breathtaking. This is going to be an adrenaline-fueled film. I have a feeling about it, but I really do get a sense from the trailer this is going to focus on character, which it definitely needs to do. That's how it's going to get repeat viewings. That's how it's going to get people to really strike a connection to it. So I hope that this movie is able to convey that. But the fact that it's showing that the most dangerous aspect of Everest is the climb down, and the fact that this is the most dangerous place on the face of the planet, to me, is an absolutely incredible story. One that I don't think gets told enough, and I'm really excited for the movie. It's going to be opening up on September 18th of this year. Again, with such an eclectic cast. If you haven't watched the trailers, I have both the domestic and the international trailer in the link of the description of this video below. So check them out if you haven't watched them yet. And when we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. The final trailer that we're going to be talking about today is for the upcoming Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Now, when the first trailer came out, I was blown away by it because this movie looked like it was still keeping in vein with the previous installments, but it was giving, again, one thing that's been a staple of the Mission Impossible franchise. It's different views. It's different directors' views on this world and how each of these characters can interact, and utilizing the gadgets and the action set pieces and all this stuff, but giving its own unique look and take on the material. And Christopher McQuarrie looked to hit it out of the park in the first trailer. I thought it looked really exciting. I loved the storyline, even though it was a little reminiscent of Ghost Protocol. Then we get this trailer, and the first couple of times, and even still now, I'm not really taken by it all that much, but one of the problems that I have with it is it feels like it's advertising a completely different type of movie than the first trailer was. The first trailer was really delving into the serious tone of the movie. Even though we know there's going to be moments of levity and moments of humor in the film, it was really touching on how serious of a situation that they are in fact in. And then you get into this trailer and it's all fun and games. And I also feel that I don't like the term spoiled when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I do have a feeling that they've showcased a lot of the set pieces in the film. Like, right off the bat, there looks to be three main set pieces in the movie. There is the underwater sequence, which we had only heard about up until this trailer, and like that was something that was so exciting. Like, this sequence that was all done in one take. Is shot over 3 minutes, so he actually had to hold his breath. He even said in an interview that he held his breath for over 6 minutes underwater, which is a feat unto itself. But this sequence was something that I was really looking forward to, and then we get a good chunk of it in the trailer. And the whole setup and all that kind of stuff. And I was really bummed about that because I wanted that to be a surprise. I wanted people to go in and see the film and be like, even myself, I'd not seen anything about it, not even heard anything about it, other than the fact that it was all done in one take. And wanting to see this sequence play out in the big screen, and then we get it shown in the trailer. They showed us even more of the plane sequence, which I don't feel that we're going to get a lot more than what we've already seen in the shots. It's just going to be really cool to see it on the big screen. And then the last sequence is the car chase through what I would guess is either Portugal or Spain. It might even be somewhere else entirely. It might even be Greece or something like that. But you see the car chase with the guys on the motorcycles, and then the car drives backwards, smashes. He gets out, gets on a motorcycle, and then gets chased down a highway with other people on the motorcycles. Like, they've shown us the three big set pieces in the movie. And there's going to be other little sequences as well. There's, we already saw in the first trailer when he is being held captive, and the girl comes in, and they beat the crap out of everybody that's in there. There's the fight scene in the opera where she not only makes a flute into a gun, but he's fighting the bad guy on the banisters out back. To me, it just looks like they've shown a lot of the film, and I have a feeling we're going to be going into the movie, sitting down and watching it and going, okay, I've seen that. Okay, there's that sequence. Okay, when are we getting to this scene? Okay, then there's this scene. Okay, then there's this scene. And it's just, I feel like we're just going to be waiting to see all these moments instead of selling us on how interesting of a film this could be. Like, that first trailer was, to me, enough to sell everybody on that movie. It showcased a lot of the cool action, but didn't give away hardly any of the main set pieces except for the plane sequence. And then in this trailer just showcased, I think, too much. And also the song. Like, while I do like the song, it didn't fit for me based on the first trailer. Because the first trailer sold me a completely different kind of movie. This one sold me the same type of movie, but with a lot more fun in it. And while I think that at the end of the day is going to be the better film, I don't like how the marketing of the movie has gone by so far. I do feel that a lot of people are going to go and see it, but to me it struck a really odd chord. I remember watching it and going, oh, okay. I thought we were getting something different, but I guess this is what we're getting. It was reminded of White House Down. Not talking about the quality of the film. Look at the first trailer for that movie, the teaser trailer, and how serious of a movie it was presenting itself to be. It was like it was going to be Olympus Has Fallen, but just on a larger scale, because it was Roland Emmerich, the guy who did Independence Day and all this stuff. And then we get the second trailer, which advertised it as a Channing Tatum, Jamie Foxx buddy cop film. And it was completely different. Like, everybody was like, oh, this is the movie that we're getting. Okay. And so I hope that that's not the case. I have a lot of faith in Chris McQuarrie, especially after seeing The Way of the Gun and seeing Jack Reacher. I mean, the guy knows how to shoot action sequences, and obviously from looking at the trailer, he's got plenty of them in the trailer, but he knows how to shoot them practically. This showcases that the CGI was only used in dire circumstances, which, going back to the underwater sequence, that looks like it's half CGI. It looks like they just filmed it underwater with green screen all around in the pool just so they could make it look like he was underwater. And then everything else was digitally added in. So, I mean, we haven't seen the whole sequence play out. It might actually be very much more fantastical than we've seen, but I didn't like the fact that they showed us as much as they did. If everybody out there might have a very different opinion on this trailer than I did, I know that this is just how it struck me. One of the other main things that gives me hope in this film is that Paramount moved the movie up 5 months. Normally, when a movie gets that much of a difference in release date, it's pushed back to give them more time to edit the movie or go back and do reshoots or add more time for CGI, or to try to bury the film. But in this case, they bumped it up 5 months. So that, to me, shows a hell of a lot of confidence that Paramount has that not only could it survive, instead of moving it to, say, October, that they felt that it could survive in the summer months, because this movie comes out at the end of July. A week and a half or 2 weeks before it, Ant-Man opens up. I can't remember what opens up the week before it, but the week after this, we get Fantastic Four. So there's a lot of competition that's coming out. And to me, that screams confidence from the studio. But then I get this trailer, and it's like, well, we don't really know if people are really excited for the movie, so we're just going to show them everything. And I felt that was the wrong way to go about it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you haven't watched the trailer, by the way, you can click the link in the description of this video below to check it out. But, I mean, I'm most excited to see the motorcycle chase sequence. To me, that's the most interestingly shot. Just the choice of camera angles and the bike sequence on the highway just looks absolutely incredible. I'm excited for the movie. I wish they hadn't have shown us as much as they did in the trailer. I personally don't even believe that they needed one. To me, they did the teaser trailer and then they did the real trailer a day apart, and then they did trailer number 2, when they should have had the teaser trailer and then waited until now to release that first trailer, because we don't need to see this sequence. I'm just reiterating myself, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the trailer. Do you think it worked? Do you think you guys were okay with it? Do you think it showed too much? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to know what you guys think about this, because to me, this is the most fascinating aspect of the show, is getting the back and forth between it. Like, no, you're wrong, and all this kind of stuff, and no, I completely agree with you, or no, I kind of meet you in the middle, and then give you reasons why. I really want to get engagement from you guys. So put a comment in the comment section whether or not you liked or disliked the trailer, and if you're excited for the film. The movie's going to be opening up on July 31st of this year. So if we do get more information about this topic, then I will definitely update you guys on here. That'll about do it for part 2 of this episode of Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. Again, you guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click that subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And also give our Facebook fan page a like at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you ever have a topic or question you'd like to have talked about on the show, you can put a comment on the Facebook page, or you can email me at movienewswithniklsun, Niklsun, at gmail.com. And like I said, on every Friday episode, I'll try to get to as many as I can. Like I stated on the previous part 1, I still do have some questions that have been picked out that I originally had wanted to address on Friday's episode. I just did not have the time to record an episode on Friday, so I will be addressing those on Wednesday's episode. In case you guys were wondering, if you've submitted a question and I haven't addressed it yet, I didn't forget about you, I didn't ignore you or anything like that. It's coming, so don't worry. And if you do have any more questions or topics, send them on in, because I've set it up where Wednesdays and Fridays are going to be days where I can put out 2, 3, or even 4 episodes if I do need to. So if you guys want to submit questions, go on in, put the comment in the comment section of this video. You can address a comment on facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun, or again, email me at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. And I'll try to get to as many as I absolutely can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.